Right.
Okay, welcome back. The next item on our agenda today is Corporate District Council fees and charges deliberations. I got that wrong.
No, you're right.
Yeah, no, I'm right. Yeah. We have a recommendation here. Do I have a mover for that?
So, Mr. Mayor, just pause for a second. You've got to do the apologies again.
I've got to go through the apologies.
Yeah, you do.
Okay, they remain the same. Is there changes to that? Okay. Councillor Manderson's apology. All those in favour, raise your hand, say aye. I'll move it.
All right. Need a seconder.
Need a seconder? Councillor Lambert, yep. All in favour? Against? Carried, right. Confirmation of the agenda. I'll move that. Can I have a seconder, please? Councillor Lambert. All those in favour, raise your hand, say aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion carried. Any conflicts of interest on this item? No. Okay, I'll move to what I began with, which was at the front of you. Recommendation here, it's quite a long one. Can I have a mover for that, please? Councillor Howard, can I have a seconder? Seconders?
Oh.
Councillor Aaron.
I'm not seconding it.
Oh.
I'd actually like to change it, but when can I do that?
Okay, look, we could do this in parts too, I guess, because it's such a big, is that your?
Oh, I want to take it in parts when we're finished, but I actually want to amend one of the, or propose a different, I can't remember how it works. Jason, help us.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, if I can. So if you want, you've got two options.
Long time.
You can request to move something else. However, Councillor Howard is moving this in here, or you can amend this once it's seconded. At the moment, we're in limbo. We don't have a seconder.
Excellent. I will shush.
I just need a seconder, Mr. Mayor.
We'll be a seconder. Who moved it?
Councillor Howard.
Councillor Howard. We have a seconder. Myself? Yeah, I could second it. Okay, I will.
Have been pushed by Deputy Mayor.
I will move my amendment later. I'll let this on discussion.
Okay. All right, so presenting this is Joy. Thank you, Joy.
Thank you. Good morning, Mayor and councillors. So the proposed fees and charges went out for a consultation from the 7th of April to the 7th of May, and we received 19 submissions. 17 of those opposed the fees and charges and 2 were for. So I went back and spoke to the activity managers that manage those budgets, and following that, I listed their recommendations in the attached appendix. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions of?
Yeah, I have a question.
No.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm just thinking in terms of recommendation. You have mentioned you'll approve everything and then you go to public for consultation after the approval?
It's already gone to public consultation, so this is following public.
So this is based on what people say, you declined a few things and other things. So we will not go after this?
No.
Okay. Thank you.
Following this and any changes that may be suggested, we'll go for adoption at the end of the month.
Mr. Mayor, if you don't mind, just might clarify where we are in the step in the process, given the question from Councillor Nair. Councillor Nair, you recall that we took this to a briefing. We then went to a council meeting. You adopted this for public consultation. The public consultation has occurred, as is a normal process. We've looked at that and analysed the feedback that we received from the community. That's what's provided to you today, and that's a staff recommendation based on that feedback to you. Today, you are deciding to agree the fees and charges or any changes as a result of that public consultation. And the reason we're doing that now, as is normal, is so that we can get the dog letters out as statutorily required earlier than, say, the annual plan process. I just wanted to sort of summarise that for you.
That's good, but there was some questions raised by, I think, Councillor Williams as well. Would have been taken care of?
Yes, councillor Williams, I've looked at your questions that you proposed to us. One was on the food registration for a renewal, and you were requesting should the renewal be cheaper. I think that WDC is the same, only Finals Disposal lowers it. And when I went back to our team, they said the renewal process is actually lengthier than the original initial registration. So the team's recommendation was to leave it at the same, which was 93.
Yeah, it's to 87. Okay. And I just had a second question on the temporary road closure bond.
Yes, so I went back to the roading team and thank you for raising that. It is a refundable fee. So it's a refundable bond. So it's a road damage bond. Okay, so the non-refundable should come out.
Yeah, that's, I was just checking it was
Yes.
non-refundable.
Thank you for raising that.
Some of it would be refundable.
So it is set at 6,000 to 10,000 depending on the activity, and I believe there's a rally coming up with 8 legs to it, over 30 k's of road network. So yeah.
Yeah, I think it's good to have that, where before it was just 6029. I think it's good to have a 6 to 10, depending on the remediation that's needed.
That may be needed, yeah. For example, the Santa Parade, there would be nothing.
Exactly. Thank you, Joy.
Okay, further questions?
Councillor,
Aaron Wilson Collins.
we were talking about the estimated number of unregistered dogs in Kaipara. That was your query. And would staff be able to provide any comment on what the barriers to registration are? So currently the percentage of unregistered dogs is sitting at 4%, which is substantially less than most councils are carrying. And the barriers to registration, as provided by Sean, the animal management office manager, refusing to pay for one thing, financial hardship, personal beliefs, and people just forget to pay it. So that causes some follow-up for that. I think there was a submission to pay in increments, but it's at $78 a year. So we put a lot of burden on revenue to manage that.
And I had a second.
Yes, the estimated costs to proceed a road closure. As on the this form here, the actual cost was 19894. So that's the actual cost.
Okay.
So the financial team looked at that because they realised that there was a benefit to these events coming into the district. You know, they're buying petrol, food, staying in motels and that kind of stuff. And so that they recommend that we leave it as it exists at the moment at 681.
Okay. So how does that difference get funded? Where does that get funded from?
That would be just that would be just covered by, I guess, ratepayer, yeah.
The ratepayer.
But as I said, if we look at it council-wide, that it's bringing in revenue into the district and promoting tourism.
Thank you.
Questions by councillor Naya, followed by councillor Howard.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just on temporary road closure, I find it a bit confusing. You start with that the proposed increase, like charity, community, not-profit event should be a reduced fee set. And then you say suggest a total fee, and then staff comments and recommendations say the fee is not increased. And then you say that there will be no fee for charity. So what are we trying to, why don't we just say that there will be no fee for charity?
I think that in the proposal, there was a statement that said fee may be reduced for charitable events, and that was at council's discretion. And last time I brought this to council, there was a bit of discussion about whose discretion is used in that. So the community team and the finance team thought that we would remove that statement to take away the ambiguity and replace it with fee waived for charitable and not-for-profit events. So that would include our Santa parades and make
There will be no fee.
no fee for them.
Thank you.
Yes, waived. And so this is just for events as well.
Councillor Howard, followed by Councillor Lambeth.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Dogs. I think you said 4%. How many is that?
Yes, would you like Sean to respond to?
Sure. I just want to get the size of the issue.
Stand up. No, I think just go back to your original question. There's two parts. There's the known dogs and then there's the registered dogs. Our known dog population has dropped from 5,410 to 5,221 in the last 5 years. And that's been a big issue for us. So when I look at our tax from this year, 65% of dogs that are involved in the incident are unknown to us prior to the incident. Our registered dogs have, the non-dog population has been, we've had a high percentage of registrations. So as I said, out of the 5,121 dogs, 4,995 dogs have been registered. But I estimate there's probably, our unknown dog population is probably between 800 and 1,500 dogs. So I'd say our dog population is probably more around 6,000 to 6,500.
Yeah.
So, we've worked on that this year. Our non-dog population currently is 5,400, which is in line with 2019 numbers. So we've stopped the decline and we're turning that around. But, you know, when you look at Whangarei or Auckland, I mean, some of these people with dogs unknown to us aren't going to be the easiest people to get to register dogs. But ideally, if we do our job properly, we should reconcile that full list. And we should, if someone's not going to register their dog, then the DIA, there's an infringement for that. It's just understanding why and showing a bit of, I mean, we're here to serve the community, right? So if someone's got financial hardship, of course, we'll accept that and work through that. But if someone blatantly doesn't believe in the DIA or council, then obviously they had to take an infringement, which is $300. So ideally, as we increase our known dog population, we should see, you know, as I said, a complete reconciled list, and there's a benefit to that for funding for animal control and making sure that we can do our service that we need.
Okay, so you're not feeling that unknown factor is becoming a problem for us?
It would be if we hadn't turned it around and started focusing on it.
Yeah.
I think unknown dogs is a massive issue. I mean, we've got a lot of communities that are isolated from Dargaville and Mangawhai, and we have to serve them, and that's serving the dog owner and the complainants, right? So the only way we can manage risk, look, the hardest thing is we've got a small animal control function. And so, you know, when you compare it to Far North District Council, they've got 21 staff just linked to animal control, right?
Yeah.
So we're doing the best we possibly can, but the reality is that the only way we can manage risk and avoid serious dog attacks or dog attacks in total, I mean, there'll always be a part of society, and as I said, it just takes one mistake. But for us to manage risk, reduce wanderings, rushing, worrying stock, is by knowing the dog population and then identifying the risk and managing it. So that's what we're trying to do.
Thank you for that.
And if I may, please, just one more for clarity.
Yep.
If we have people that are unregistered, have unregistered dogs and will not in any way abide with DIA, whatever else, what is our ultimate?
So we follow the law. The DIA states that if you don't register your dog, there's two things that can happen. Either you're served an infringement, which is a Section 42 infringement for non-registration, or we uplift your dog.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have many of that?
Again, I mean, we're there to serve the community. I think, I mean, look, we use VADE, which is voluntary assist, direct and enforce. So we start with talking to people and trying to get them to voluntary assist. And then we move to enforcement when we've got no other options.
Okay. Thanks, Sean.
Thank you, Sean.
I just have a question.
Councillor Lambert first.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I've got no dog questions for you.
Oh, hang on, Councillor No, we'll take another question.
So I just want to know, I mean, I understand there are 65% unregistered and
Out of our dog attacks, there was 65% were unknown to us prior.
unknown one. So there's a large
That's
population.
estimated.
Yeah. So what are we doing about in terms of having a mailer campaign or, who are registered or not registered?
The officers are working really hard on this, and I think there's some things that we could do and think about that in regards to mailing. But generally speaking, I mean, people know the DIA. They're avoiding it because they live in isolated communities and there's no presence of council in the past. So I think it's just a matter of us being proactive and getting out there, doing our proactive patrolling, doing our property checks. And like, so for example, there's a cat attack in, I don't know, a Dargaville. And we don't know which dog killed the cat. Well, we can use that as an opportunity to door knock.
Yeah.
Talk to people, and then obviously we buy new dogs and we do our job. So it's just about, like, we have to move from the reactive space, the ambulance at the bottom of the cliff, to the proactive space where we're actively, yeah.
Thank you very much.
That's fine. Thank you.
Thank you, councillor Lambeth.
Yeah, I've got two questions. Going back to the road closures, I noticed there's over 300% rise in a temporary road closure fee. Could that be concluded that that is now those private or businesses are now sponsoring the freebies, the charity ones?
So the original fee was $6.21, and you're saying it's gone up to 3 times the price, $19.94?
Yes.
Okay, so previously these fees were sitting with the NTA, and they hadn't moved for several years. So when they came in-house, the roading team did a thorough analysis of costs involved in that, and that $19.94 is based on the actual cost of processing a temporary road closure.
So the volunteer organisation, charitable organisations, the council is going to take a $2,000 hit every time they don't charge. It's got to be funded from somewhere else.
At the moment, you're taking $1,000 hit on everyone because we're proposing to not increase it at all.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get my head around that. The other thing is the building consent fees. Now, I noticed right across the board, there's some that have gone up, some that have gone down, right across the board with all the fees. But generally, looking at it, it's probably a percentage rise with the CPI or very much like that. I still can't get my head around building consent fees rising because it is based on the value of the building. And if building values are constantly going up, you're getting the rise anyway. So you're not double dipping from that? If you've got a 100 square metre home and it was going to cost $400,000 to build, now with the percentage increase, it'll cost $450,000, and it could move up to the next bracket, or eventually it will, and then you get your increase anyway for the same amount of work. So I'm just trying to get my head around, is that double dipping or not?
Apologies, councillor Lambert, but I'll have to go to the building services manager for that response.
Thank you.
Okay, Jesse's got a hand up. She might be able to add to that.
Oh, okay, sorry, there's Jesse's up here from staff. Welcome, Jesse. Oh, we can see you too. Thank you.
Hi, thank you, Councillor Lambeth, for your question. Just confirming the costs, those fees are based on our costs and our costs that are attracted at each different level of building. So yes, there is changes in the brackets when the building value changes, but those costs under each one are based on our costs. So not double dipping, if that helps.
Yes, well, it doesn't really, because say we're looking at a building that cost 90,000 last year and it's now going to cost 110. It will increase from what was 3,317 up to 4,543 because just of the rate of inflation, no extra work required, same design. So you're getting your increase anyway with the inflation of that building cost.
Those scales are set based on the additional work that is required by the building team. So there's additional inspections and obviously greater risk around graded value building for council. So that's why those scales are there, so that we're making sure we're doing the work required for each different building consent.
Yeah, you probably didn't hear me again. I said exactly the same building. One was put in 6 months later, but it had an inflationary cost to it, exactly the same inspections and everything else. There's no increase in work. But anyway, so yeah, it's probably, my apologies for springing it on you now. It probably should have been a pre-meditated question.
Agreed. And to be honest, I'm sorry to be like this, but you know, before we went out to consultation would have been a good time to sort that out.
Yes.
Okay, councillor Vincent.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I might be able to help with just shedding some light on this if Jessie doesn't disappear. I just wonder if someone could advise us in terms of the revenue and finance policy. There's a public benefit, private benefit equation, like a percentage of return that we need to achieve, or we've agreed we should achieve. It might be 80-20. How are we faring? Because it could be that I think we might be below the line in terms of the recovery rate for actual recoveries. So maybe we need to have an increase to take that into account.
Mr. Mayor, I'll just get, if we can get Sue, maybe Sue, so
Sue.
that the councillors.
Chair, I think Joy actually produced the two in one of her first papers. Yeah. But I think it's either 70 or 75%. We're not up as much as 80% recovery from.
But there is a percentage, isn't there, that we should be achieving.
Yeah, and the rest would be private. No, and I think Joy reported it was about 55% recovery, so it's well below it. So then we've stopped using contractors, just using our own staff, but we have a number of staff and not insufficient building consents at the moment.
Yeah. Thank you for that. It was a question I had to ask.
Any further questions? Erin Wilson-Collins, followed by councillor Nair.
Sorry to be a pain. I just want to go back to the road closure because I'm just getting my head around it. I came in with a view and I'm possibly changing it as we speak. I know, revolutionary. That's how council should work. I just want to, you might not know, I just did a quick Google around what our fellow councils charge. It's a lot less already. Yeah, cool. Nice. I get it now. I understand where the staff are coming from. Thank you.
We're talking about probably 8 events a year.
Yeah.
Yeah, councillor Nair.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. No, I quite like the way it is presented, and I think they're very reasonable fee. But my question is, what Councillor Lambert was mentioning, is it the same model in terms of percentage? Because the cost of construction will keep 25% higher every year anyway. Is it the same model being used in other council in terms of percentage?
Through the chair, the CPI this year was applied to the building fees, and that was 2.2%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Thank you. What other?
There's no confusion. Thank you for that.
Any further questions? Thank you, Joy. Okay, previous statement, councillor Howard.
I think that these have been well presented and well discussed through questions, and I have nothing further to add. Happy with the decisions that have been made.
Thank you. As seconder, I'll agree with that. Any other elected members wish to speak? So Naya.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just very pleased with this presentation in terms of proposed fees and changes. I think the community consultation had helped actually very well, and the key issues have been tackled. So very happy the charitable organization, temporary road closure was a big thing. The events, we need a lot of events in Dargaville, Mangawhai, and all around. So it is excellent. Yeah, thank you. Fully supported.
Any other elected members wish to speak? Councillor Erin Wilson-Collins.
Thank you. Yeah, I thank the public for submitting, and but also want to thank the staff for Joy for going through every item and being able to advise us on each point that was raised by by the public. It's excellent to be able to give a really good informed decision, and especially appreciate the conversations and questions this morning. I no longer need to take it in parts. If you don't want to do that, you can take it in one. Because as is meant to work in a situation like this, you come in with necessarily a view, but you keep an open mind.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to speak? Okay, move as right or reply, councillor Howard.
Nothing further to add.
Okay, we'll move this to the vote. All those in favour, raise their hands. Say aye.
Aye.
Against? Carried. Thank you. Now, the next item on our agenda is
Mr Mayor, you're closing this council meeting now,
closing this.
and then we'll just need a couple of minutes and we'll move into the council briefing.
Okay.
One of those days today.
Adjournment before we
Yep.
have the next item.
Just take about 5 minutes, so we'll close the council
10
meeting.
minutes. Yep.
What a difference it makes not having